we're asked to use the reflection tool to define a reflection that will map line segment ME, onto the other line segment below. So we want to map ME to this segment over here, and we want to use a reflection. Let's see what they expect from us if we want to add a reflection. So if I click on this, it says reflection over the line from, and then we have two coordinate pairs. So they want us to define the line that we're going to reflect over with 2 points on that line. So let's see if we can do that. And to do that, I think I needed to write something down. So let me get my scratch pad out, and I copied and pasted the same diagram. And the line of reflection, one way to think about it, we want to map point E. We want to map point E to this point right over here. We want to map point M to this point over here. And so between any point and its corresponding point on the image after the reflection, these should be equidistant from the line of reflection. This and this should be equidistant from the line of reflection. This and this should be, E and this point should be equidistant from the line of reflection. Or another way of thinking about it, that line of reflection should contain the midpoint between these two magenta points, and it should contain the midpoint between these two deep navy blue points. So let's just calculate the midpoints. So we could do that with a little bit of mathematics. The coordinates for E right over here, that is, that is x equals -4, y is equal to -4. And the coordinates for the corresponding point to E in the image, this is x is equal to 2, and y is equal to -6. So what's the midpoint between -4 and 2, -6? Well, you just have to take the average of the x's and take the average of the y's. Let me do that. I'll do it over here. So if I take the average of the x's, it's going to be -4 plus 2 over 2. That's the average of the x's. And then the average of the y's is going to be -4 plus -6 over 2. -4 plus -6 over 2. And then close the parentheses. Let's see, -4 plus 2 is -2, divided by 2 is -1, so it's going to be -1, comma, -4 plus -6, that's the same thing as -4 minus 6, which is going to be -10, divided by 2 is -5. Let me do that in a blue color so you see where it came from, is going to be -5. So there you have it. That's going to be the midpoint between E and the corresponding point on its image. So let's see if I can plot that. So this is going to be, this point right over here is going to be -1, comma, -5. So x is -1, y is -5. So it's this point right over here. And it does indeed look like the midpoint. It looks like it's equidistant between E and this point right over here. And so this should sit on the line of reflection. So now let's find the midpoint between M and this point right over here. The coordinates of M are x is -5 and y is equal to 3. The coordinates here are x is equal to 7 and y is equal to -1. So the midpoint, the x coordinate of the midpoint is going to be the average of the x's here. So let's see, it's going to be -5 plus 7 over 2. And the y coordinate of the midpoint is going to be the average of the y coordinates. So 3 plus -1 over 2. Let's see, -5 plus 7 is +2 over 2 is 1. 3 minus 1, 3 plus -1, that's +2 over 2 is 1. So the point 1, comma 1 is the midpoint between these two. So 1, comma 1, just like that. So the line of reflection is going to contain these 2 points, and 2 points define a line. In fact, let me draw the line of reflection just because we did all of this work. The line of reflection is going to look something like, I want to draw this a little bit straighter than that. It's going to look something like this. And this makes sense that this is a line of reflection. I missed that magenta point a little bit. So let me go through the magenta point. Okay, there you go. This makes sense that this is a line of reflection because you see that you pick an arbitrary point on segment ME, say that point, and if you reflect it over this line, it's this is its shortest distance from the line. You just go onto the other side of the line and equidistant, and you get to its corresponding point on the image. So it makes a lot of sense that these are mirror images if this is kind of the mirror here. You can imagine that this is, this is kind of the surface of the water if you're looking at it at an angle. I don't know if that helps you or not. But anyway, we found 2 points. We found 2 points that define that line of reflection. So now let's use the tool to type them in. One is -1, -5. The other one is 1, 1. So let me see if I can remember that. I have a bad memory. But so one is -1, -5, and then the other one is 1, 1. And we see it worked. We see it worked. When I did that, it actually made the reflection happen. And notice, it completely went from this point, and now our blue is over the image that we wanted to get to. So we are done.